Hey, Jim Padilla here. And we know that one of the biggest challenges with making sales is having the right people to talk to. If you can't talk to people, you can't make offers. You can't make offers, you can't make sales. And then life is a problem for you. Go to the show notes here. Check out what's going on in our 5 proven steps to fill your calendar with qualified and easy, ready leads in our Leads Made Easy program. So we're given that. We got a bonus that's inside the show notes here. Go take advantage of that. Check it out. Implement that process and let us know how it goes for you, because we would love to see your calendar full with the right appointments. You can have the right conversations with the right people at the right time about the right things. Hey, welcome to Make More Sales podcast by Gain the Edge, the show that helps you scale your company, helps you get focused on how do you scale exponentially as simply as possible, putting sales strategies, teams, and processes in front of you in ways to help you see that exponential growth should be a regular occurrence in your world. I'm your host, Jim Padilla, and today we are going to talk about back-end marketing versus front-end. How do you continue to grow and scale? Really, the focus is going to be on how do you reduce client acquisition costs by optimizing what happens after the first time you make an offer to somebody. Right? We're going to discuss the ins and outs, some key concepts that will help you be more effective, more profitable, right? And offers a special surprise at the end here. Stick around, okay? And be sure to listen all the way through for the details. I got some things I want to share with you. All right. So before we start today's episode, please go to my Instagram account. Follow us there at Gain the Edge Now. Follow me and message me on any sales questions or challenges that you have. Anything that you're seeing that is in the way of you growing your company exponentially. Now, here's the key. I'm all for 10% growth movement of any kind. I want you to win. If you can make more money today than you did yesterday, if you can grow your business by 1% today, that's great. It's an improvement. That's moving in the right direction. For that matter, and all the weird, crazy times that are going on, if you can hold water, like many of you, many people held serve through the course of COVID, while a lot of businesses were going under. So the mere fact that you're still in business and still making money is a fantastic thing. But I also wanted to enlighten you to something else. While there are a lot of businesses that were going under, other businesses that were holding serve and doing everything they could just to hold, there were many businesses that were thriving, many people who were going deep, who were making more money than they ever have, who were getting more clients than they ever have, who were solving more problems than you ever have, right? Because remember, whenever controversy comes, whenever tough times come, the greatest opportunities for success always materialize, because when more challenges surface, that means the need for more solutions arise. And when you can be the one who comes up with those solutions, the market is going to reward you always will. So I always want to speak to the high end of this. Again, while I have nothing against anybody who is trying to increase your revenue by 10, 15, 20%. That's fantastic. There's also a lot of people who can help you do that and who speak to that. We specialize in focusing on people who are thinking about doubling their revenue, 10xing their revenue, right? Adding another $1 million revenue stream, looking for exponential growth, looking to make money in ways you hadn't thought about, looking to add additional revenue streams, looking to grow by additional measures and means. And right now I have something I'm going to share with you. There's a lot of things we're going to be sharing over the next, several weeks and months as we move through this year, because I want you thinking about exponential growth. And many times we just get so focused because you're in the day-to-day of running your business, you get in the weeds. And so you get really focused on being transactional when that occurs. So something that we see a lot, and it's a conversation that I'm having a lot of. I have a talk that I've done a few times that I'm putting together and refining, but it's called the 90-10 fallacy. And the focus on that is that people who are, let's put it this way. This is where I came with the number 90-10. 90% of businesses out there are spending 90% of their time, effort, energy, and resources trying to maximize how to get somebody from new to your world to purchasing a high ticket product. People are trying to go as fast as possible from click to high ticket conversion. And that's where all the time, effort, energy is spent. measuring clicks, measuring click-through rates, measuring EPCs, measuring how many people are moving in that place faster than others. How much can we reduce that click? How much can we affect that person? How many different ways can we touch that person from the time they click to move them forward? When they register for the webinar, how many different ways can we get involved? How can we move them? How many things can we do to get them to show up for the webinar? How many different ways can we optimize the webinar? How many times, if somebody doesn't show up for the webinar, how many ways we're getting back to them, circling around? Now, here's the thing. It's all good stuff. Not a single thing that I'm mentioning here is something that shouldn't be paid attention to because it's important, right? When you get somebody into your world, you want to turn them into a client, right? But there's a few things that we got to keep in place and keep in mind. Okay. 90% of the sales we make come after the 5th, 6th, 7th, 10th, 12th, 25th touch. When people are in your world, there are some people who will literally just never buy from you until they've had a chance to see more from you. There's people who will not buy something from you until they've had a chance to see your credibility, the chance to see how you work, the chance to see your consistency, see how well you're going to hang out with them over time, see how well you engage in what you do. And that's a matter of fact. That is not the exception. That is the rule. More people than not work that way. The myth of the one call close is one of the things that is comical to me because there are a lot of people who focus all their energy on trying to get one call closes. And I got news for you. Every one call close you've ever had has been because somebody else warmed them up first. So it's it is such the exception that somebody who discovers a brand new bleeding neck problem, has done nothing to try to solve it, has not investigated anywhere or spent any time in anybody else's path of opportunity, and then came to you. It is so rare that somebody has a bleeding neck problem that is new and now and ready to be solved. And then you're the first person that shows up and you're the only person they've spoken to and they said yes. That almost never happens. So to build a business model around that would be foolish. Okay. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm saying it's not something that you can count on. That's a bit like a lightning strike. Okay. Most people have spent significant time dealing with the problem that they're dealing with. Much time, effort, energy, and resource trying to solve it, doing a lot of things. So when they come to you, it's already been something that they've been trying to solve. They've been thinking about giving effort and energy to, and then you come along at the right time to be able to close the gaps on the questions, the concerns, the challenges that they've been either asking themselves or that somebody else has been asking them. And maybe other people just weren't as compelling, as clear, as motivating as you were. Or maybe somebody else asked a question, they didn't get it. And then you run into them 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years later. And then you ask the question in a way that they do get it. And all of a sudden, bam, it drops right in your plate, right in your lap. Okay. So, and I could spend the next hour just sharing multiple scenarios where we see this stuff happen all the time. But I think you get the point I'm trying to make. So here's the thing. If 90% of our sales come after the first opportunities that come to the sale opportunity, then why would we spend 90% of our time trying to capture the 7 to 10% of the sales that happen on the front end? Okay. Now, again, I'm not knocking any of the things that we do. We do them too. We do them in our company. We do them for all the client campaigns that we work on. We spend a significant, scary amount of time, effort, energy on what do we do from click to conversion? How do we get that new lead to come in and maximize it? But here's the part that we are very intentional. We don't spend 90% of our time because by definition and default, we have carved out time, effort, energy, and strategy and resource to make sure that at least 50% of our time, effort, energy, strategy, resources, thoughts are spent on what happens after the person comes into our world. If we're working on a campaign and we got to click to a sequence, to a webinar or to an event or something that is going to be a conversion opportunity, and something doesn't happen there. Well, we are always, literally 24/7, we are working around here on ensuring that we actually have a plan, a path, and a strategy to take that person back to another opportunity, back to another way, to another seat at the table, another time to be able to come back and discuss it, another resource to get in front of. It's called working a pipeline. It's beyond nurture. Nurture to me is what happens when you feed somebody through your list, right? That's nurture. Nurturing is building an intentional path that people can stay on to be connected to you and stay in your world. Working a pipeline is actively engaging and strategically moving people that are in your world that are at various stages of readiness to purchase or move forward. And that's what we do as a sales company, right? That's what our team does. Our team is magnificent at working pipelines, which for some crazy reason is a rare occurrence in today's sales world. It used to be sales pipeline was a thing. And now all of a sudden today, it's just not, because the whole industry, everybody is so spoiled. They think that we should just make a living on what comes through the front door every day. And if it doesn't, we just go get more people to come in the front door. Well, number one, that's expensive. It's getting more expensive all the time. Every place, every source that you can find cold traffic opportunities, it gets more and more expensive. Algorithms get tricky. Everybody's trying to play that game and master that game, while the people who are serving it up, the Googles, the Facebooks, the LinkedIns, the everybody's, they don't want to make it easy. They play hard to get. Okay. So as the cost of the clicks go up, it's okay. You just have to make sure that the lifetime value of what comes through the other side of that when people become a client increases at a faster rate than the cost of the click. Okay. The cost of the acquisition, the cost of the sale. So it doesn't matter whether it's 10 cents, $10, $10,000, whatever it costs you for an opportunity to come in to be a client. You need to be aware of that. You need to know what your cost per clicks are. You need to very, very, very importantly, know what does it cost to get somebody across the finish line, so that you can make sure that you're making it up on the back end. It's one thing. It's okay to pay $500 or $1,000 to make somebody a client if they're paying you at least $1,000 to get in the door, and or another several $1,000s over time. You want to make sure you're always winning on the high side. Put in $1, get out $2. Right? That way you're always coming out ahead. I mean, at the minimum, just from a mathematical standpoint, if you put in $1 and get out $1 and a penny, you're winning. So at least make sure that that's the intention. Okay. But I want to just do a quick visual with you here, because this is something that one of the concepts that we work on, we talk about about spokes on the wheel. Basically, we have a wheel. Whenever we're working with lead generation sources, prospect journeys, and getting people through the door to an opportunity, we're always looking, we see them at the lens of the spokes on the wheel. Okay, at the center of the wheel is qualified booked appointments. Okay, this is the front end piece. And we're always looking at what are the various different things that we're doing that are generating leads, and then what are the strategies that we're moving people to qualified booked appointments, right? So on this particular wheel hub, if you're looking at it, there's a hub of the wheel, which is qualified booked appointments, QBA. Then the inner ring is the strategies, right? Cold traffic strategies, partners, funnels, VSL funnels, webinar funnels, outbound campaigns, email lists, and then sponsorships, podcasts, or hosting and guesting, Facebook, obviously paid strategies for social of all kinds, organic social, et cetera. And the list goes on. But then the outer ring is what are all of the opportunities that are going to lead people into those different strategies, or the spokes on the wheel, right? Assessments and resources and checklists and 9-word emails and ethical bribes and blogs and guest blogs, and all the list goes on. Okay. The thing is, once they get past QBA, no matter how many of them get there, all the percentage of them that get an offer and then or don't take action, right, have to be addressed. So even if you're converting at 40%, which is phenomenal, okay, 50% is phenomenal. That still means 40 or 50% of your people on your list or on your offers are not buying at that time. Okay, then you have to consistently be focusing on what do we need to do to keep serving that person? What are the paths I want to put them on so that they can get to a place where they're ready to readdress this problem? What can we do to make sure that what they're doing is that they're seeing clearly the problem. They're seeing clearly all the things that you have, all the ways that you solve the problem, the ways you think about the problem, the ways you understand it, sharing case studies and testimonies. They're going to start seeing a lot more of that from us. We're putting together, right, as we speak, a series of case study videos and case studies. We're making every single case study is going to be in the form of a video, a form of a PDF, and in the form of a webinar. So that way it'll be able to fit different people's digestion, your palate. For some people, they won't, not willing to make a commitment more than looking at a PDF that they can look through in 3 to 5 minutes. Other people will be interested and ready and compelled to want to look at a 15-minute video, 5-minute video, right? And then still others will then be ready to take action on watching a 45 to 90-minute webinar on a case study video. Okay. And or coming to a session where we break down a case study live. Okay. But all we're doing is we're sharing stories. We'll be sharing stories, and we're sharing. And all of this is beyond. Once they've come into our world, they're starting to look for, now they want to see more from us. They're looking, they're like, okay, I'm interested. I'm here, not ready to pull the trigger, but tell me more. Tell me more. And what are you doing to tell them more? Are you just sharing more of your products? Are you sharing all of your partners' products? Or are you sharing more of how you serve, how you solve? Are you sharing with them how you communicate? What is your perspective on the journey and what it is that we're doing, right? Like here, one of the things I'm doing, I'm trying to share with you of my perspective is if you want to be successful and effective over the long term, you must put more effort into what happens in the back end. What happens after the first 1, 2, or 3 opportunities that somebody gets to buy from you? You cannot just discount these people, right? Because timeliness and readiness is everything. There are people who are firmly convinced that if they don't buy in the front end, they're never going to buy. And that is just foolish, because then what's going to happen? Those people are going to come into our world, somebody else's, and then someone on my team is going to be like, yeah, that was a 1-call close. And be like, well, we know for them it was, but we know that was because they spent time in your world and you didn't convert them, but then you didn't take care of them. So they left. And then they came to us and we took care of them and kept them moving forward, and then kept nurturing them and then brought them across the finish line, however much time later. Okay. So it's vital and imperative, guys, because here's the key. You should be running 2 businesses at all time, something that we call double vision, right? You have to be walking around with double vision every day. And what that means is you're running 2 businesses. You are running the business you're in today and the business you're building tomorrow. Right? As long as you plan on being in business next year or 2 years from now or 10 years from now, then you need to start generating systems, processes, and strategies that ensure you're picking up revenue then. Otherwise, if you put all of your effort on optimizing what happens at the front door, you will never be able to leave the front door. You will always and forever have to be perfecting that and figuring out how to get more people in at less expensive clicks and acquisition rates. And the best way to do that is by becoming a master of working the pipeline on the back end. Once somebody says no to you 1, 2, 3 times, right? What are you doing to ensure that they're being served, educated, and delivered an experience so that over time, they are gaining more opportunity to see how you work, how you think about the problem, and how it resonates with them, so that they can come into your world, have another opportunity, another seat at the table, so that they can say yes. Because they will be saying yes later. The only question is going to be, will they be saying yes to you, or will they be saying yes to me? Right? Because we will always be around. Right? Back in the day when I was just a big shot sales guy, whatever, all I did whenever I went to a new opportunity, new office, started a new sales gig, day 1, I would make sales, because my go-to strategy always, if I was in a new shop, first day in the door, I would go to the guys I would look at the leaderboard, see who's converting most. And I would go, no matter how good they were, they are always leaving deals on the table. So top guys on the leaderboard that were converting in the highest sides, I knew they had more activities and more opportunities, and most likely they didn't follow up, because nobody follows up, because most people suck at working a pipeline. I would go to them and I would say, hey, give me access to the people who've told you no in the last 30, 60, 90 days. I would follow up with those people. I would bring deals across the finish line, and then I'd have split deals on the board. That way I would have sales in the pipeline fast before I started having to start a cold pipeline from scratch. Right. And I made a living doing that. And so I've been doing it my whole life. And it's something that I'm dumbfounded at how many people don't. And I want to encourage you not to be one of those people. Make sure that you are actively working a pipeline, that you are actively moving people forward, that you are delivering value. We'll be talking more. Stay tuned here. We're going to be talking a lot more about this in upcoming episodes. We're going to be talking about strategies for follow-up, quality follow-up. I know one of the reasons that people don't work a pipeline and don't follow up is simply because you just don't know what to do. And then for those who do know what to do, don't have a system for doing it, which then ensures that you won't do it consistently at all. And either way, it doesn't deliver a quality, consistent follow-up result. And then if you don't get the results doing it, you won't do it, right? So we do it systematically, intentionally, with strategy and systems and process, and ensure that we give great outcomes, right? We have client campaigns that we're working on right now where we're delivering 6-figure outcomes in a month, on campaigns that didn't generate any leads in that month because the team's been working pipelines beyond from previous months, previous activities and going, and they're consistently working those pipelines, being of value. The whole key is you want to work a pipeline, learn to be relevant and valuable over time. Relevant and valuable over time. And that goes well beyond any kind of automated nurture sequence that you're thinking of. This is about personal touch, connection, strategy, showing them that you're paying attention and that what they're doing matters and matters to you. Right. So I would love to hear from you. Go into show notes, make some comments, reach out to us, check out the resources that we have, because we have some gifts that we want to be able to share with you. And I really want to know how I can serve you. So however this is resonating, first and foremost, please share, like, comment, rate, and review, and subscribe. Please let us know. The more feedback we get, the better the algorithm works, the more rankings we get. And then we know how to respond. So there's contact information. Shoot me an email. Find us on the social media. And ask questions. And then, let me know that you came from the podcast here, and we'll make sure that we build episodes around the questions that you're getting. That's really what we're doing anyway. We're just taking questions that we're getting from email, from social media, from the events that we're doing. And we're the stuff that comes up the most, or things that seem like they have the highest amount of opportunity to be a needle moving solution. That's what we're doing to build the episode. So we're not building episodes based on what I want to teach or what I want to share. We're building it based on what you're sharing and what you're saying you need, and what is coming up consistently as hot button items that we know need to be solved because of all the volume and the 25,000 sales, conversations that we're having a year and the campaigns that we're working on. We're on the front line, so we see what's working and what's hot and what's not. So everything we're sharing is coming from there and from whatever you ask directly. Okay. So, take a plunge with us. Appreciate you being here. Thanks as always for sticking around and trusting us to be part of your success team. And I appreciate you. Right. So make sure that you push the buttons, all the right buttons, share everything the right way, and take advantage of the free resources that are in the show notes. Right. Appreciate you. Hey, just something that we want to make sure that you understand is we do regular live events, right? We do workshops that are designed to serve and support you on a regular basis. Obviously, based on when you're listening to this, we have no idea what day, time, year you're listening to this. And so based on when you're listening and what you see in the show notes, there's always going to be a registration page for you to jump into our next event, where we're helping to optimize your systems, your sales, your strategies, your teams. If what comes up and you go to the page and there's an event coming up in the next month or in the next couple of weeks, please register for it. We'd love to have you join us. And if it's not, then sign up, because then you get on the waiting list for when the next one is. And we rotate things through every 30, 60, 90 days. So whether we're doing workshops on how to build a 6-figure event that will deliver and become a revenue producing asset, or if we're doing creative offer labs, we do, how to create a compelling and converting offer. We do workshops around that. We do workshops on strategic planning and sales, and on building sales teams. So these things are always in our rotation, whether it's a masterclass or workshop or an event. And the bottom line is we are here to help optimize and scale for you. One of the things that we have set aside for you are Leads Made Easy program. Right? It's something that we have been running as a system, and it's really purely designed to help you generate leads in any environment. Okay? It's a 5-step proven process to fill your calendar with qualified and ready leads. We've prepared a compilation of our proven strategies, and it's our Leads Made Easy link. So please check that out in the bio. Please check that out here in the show notes. It is here for you, and take advantage of that. And then when you do, jump into our Facebook group, let yourself be known, and ask us, show us how we can help you. Right? We're here to make a difference for you.